Hi there, my name is Paula Sturm, and I'm a registered dietitian, a functional medicine nutritionist, and the owner of Radically Nourished. And in today's tip, I want to talk about anti-inflammatory smoothies. And I will be sharing some recipes for these smoothies. So I will be sharing those in my email. So I send these tips through my email newsletter that I send out once a week. So if you want to sign up, go to my website, which is radicallynourished.com, and you can sign up for my newsletter there. And I'll share a video and I share oftentimes what's going on in my blog. And sometimes I'll even share other resources, handouts, or recipes, or things like that. So let's just talk about smoothies. I know they're really common for people. A lot of people like them. They're a great way, they're quick, they're a great way to get a bunch of nutrition in. And so I want to talk about ways that you can really focus your smoothies on being anti-inflammatory and what you can add to them. So what we'll talk about today is why smoothies are the perfect anti-inflammatory vehicle. We'll talk about some key anti-inflammatory ingredients you can add to your smoothies. And then we'll talk about some tips for making the best anti-inflammatory smoothies. And again, I'll share some recipes for you in the email. All right, number one, why are smoothies such a great vehicle for anti-inflammatory ingredients? Smoothies are great because they're customizable. Smoothies allow you to easily combine multiple anti-inflammatory ingredients into one meal or a snack if you choose to have a smoothie as a snack. Oftentimes, you can disguise a lot of things that maybe you don't love the taste of in a smoothie and get them in. Smoothies are easy to digest. Blending ingredients helps break down fibers. So if you struggle breaking fibers down, sometimes these can be an easier way to do that. And this makes it easier for your body then to absorb those ingredients as well. Smoothies are quick and convenient, perfect for busy mornings or post-workout recovery. Very often you can make pre-made smoothie packs and put a good majority of the ingredients in a bag and put them in the freezer. When you're ready to make them, dump it out into your blender and add your desired liquid and any other things that you want to add into it at that time. Blend it up and ready to go. Smoothies are versatile and delicious. You can take them with you. You can adjust the flavors to suit whatever preferences that you have, and also incorporate a lot of those powerful anti-inflammatory foods. So, what are some of those ingredients that you could add to your smoothies to make them more anti-inflammatory? Turmeric is a big one. And why you want to try to add some turmeric, you can just take the spice right out of your spice cabinet and shake it right into your smoothie. Turmeric is a powerful anti-inflammatory compound, which most people already know. And you can add about a half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, maybe a pinch of black pepper to enhance its absorption. And very often, so long as you don't go too crazy and add too much, you won't even taste it. Another thing you could try adding is ginger. Maybe you add turmeric and ginger to your smoothie and spice it up. And why ginger is really important is ginger contains gingerol, which helps reduce inflammation and improves digestion as well. Also great for your immune system too. So try adding a half an inch of some fresh ginger that you peel or a quarter teaspoon of ground ginger. Berries, a lot of times people add berries to their smoothies, but there's an important reason why is because they're rich in antioxidants like anthocyanins that help combat oxidative stress. Also, the polyphenols in berries are great for your microbiome, and a healthy microbiome is going to help with inflammation as well. So try adding a half to 1 cup of blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries to your smoothie. Generally, when I give recommendations for making smoothies, I say try to stick with no more than 1 cup of fruit. I try just to make sure to watch your blood sugar. And it depends. It depends on your goals. And if you're super active, maybe you need more, but in general, about a cup of fruit a day. And so if you have one smoothie, make 1 cup or use 1 cup of fruit in that smoothie, then that would be your fruit for the day. but berries are excellent as far as being low glycemic and great for antioxidants. And then leafy greens. So if you aren't adding like a good handful of some leafy greens into your smoothie, this would be a great chance to do that. Leafy greens, getting some vegetables in your smoothies is great. Not just getting fruit there, but you can add in leafy greens. And sometimes we don't get enough leafy greens. I like to recommend people get some leafy greens in daily, and that doesn't always happen. So a smoothie can be your perfect vehicle to get your leafy greens in. And if you're having fruit in there, it can disguise some of the bitterness that leafy greens have, but leafy greens, no matter what they are going to be loaded with anti-inflammatory compounds and vitamins and minerals, especially B vitamins. So I just take a handful. Oftentimes I'll use a baby green because oftentimes they're less bitter. So baby kale, or they have those blends like a power green mix that has Swiss chard and kale and collard greens and you name it in there. Throw that in there as a leafy green. You can buy frozen spinach if you'd like, or frozen kale if you'd like. And you don't have to add a whole bunch of kale, let's say. It's just a handful. You don't want to go too crazy and have too much. Too much of a good thing is not always a good thing, right? So, a handful in your smoothie is perfectly fine, enough. And then have some healthy fats. So, we want to make sure that we treat a smoothie as a meal. So we want to make sure there's protein, some vegetables, fruit combo, healthy fats, fiber in there. And that way it's going to help stabilize your blood sugar and help you stay full. And so if we're missing any of those components, oftentimes it can feel like a smoothie sort of runs through us and then we're hungry an hour later. So if you try to make sure that you add a good protein powder, you have your leafy greens, you have your berries, and then adding some healthy fats. And some of the best healthy fats you can add are the ones that also have fiber, like chia seeds or flax seeds. Those will also give you a fiber boost as well as those healthy fats. Avocado is an excuse me, is another thing you can add for healthy fats that will be super satisfying. And avocados, again, have their own anti-inflammatory compounds in them as well. So you can add a quarter of an avocado, a tablespoon of one of those seeds, chia seeds or flax seeds, to get those healthy fats. It will help with inflammation and stabilizing your blood sugar. And just to note, avocados freeze really well. So what I'll usually do is cut my avocados up into quarters, or cut them in half and then cut them in half again and then chop those in half. And then I freeze them in a Ziploc bag. And then you can take a couple little avocado chunks, throw them in the blender, and you don't have to worry about your avocados going bad before you use them up. And having frozen fruit or frozen avocados are a great way to, instead of adding ice into your smoothie, to help it stay cold and the texture that usually they offer. And then a plant-based milk. Choosing almond or coconut or oat milk provides a creamy base without the inflammatory dairy. So a lot of people that I see especially have dairy sensitivities. So choosing something plant-based, I'll usually use a combo, a little bit of a plant milk and a little bit of water, just to watch the calories there. But 1 cup of liquid. If you need a little bit more liquid, maybe just splash in a little extra water. Okay, and then here are some other tips for making the best anti-inflammatory smoothies. You want to blend in stages. Start with liquid and greens first for a smoother texture, and keep it balanced. Include a mix of fruits, greens, healthy fats, spices, protein to avoid those blood sugar spikes. And then making sure to choose a protein, and it can be any number. It could be a collagen powder, it could be a plant-based protein, it could be a whey protein, a bone meal protein, or bone broth protein, whatever you like, but make sure that it has some protein. And then freeze your ingredients. Use frozen fruit, frozen greens, frozen avocados for a creamier texture. And that way you can avoid adding ice, which might water it down. So I hope you found those tips helpful, and reach out with any questions.